Why do we judge others? And how can we stop judging others so much? Or what does it mean when people judge us? Let's talk about it today. Hi there, I'm Beth Rowles. I'm a relationship coach. I help driven women use their relationship as a feedback loop to grow in self awareness and create more of the relationships they want without leaving the one they're in. So, judgments, are related to my videos from earlier this month. You will find the most judgmental people in my family of origin because they're Catholic. And for some reason, I find Catholics to be like the most judgmental of the bunch. No offense to Catholics. Sorry, I probably already have offended you. But that's okay because you'll talk about me anyway at dinner. Like my family has something to say about everybody. And I think it's just because the nature of the religion and going to confession and always trying to find something that you need to confess to the priest about and understanding what sins are and this idea that we need to be some kind of image of perfection just leads to having an even more ingrained and like tightly held belief system that we have a hard time letting go of. Like just even the ritualistic nature of the mass. I think like the whole didn't mean to make this video on Catholics, sorry, but like the the part about the religion that's good that talks about love and loving your neighbor and loving yourself and stuff gets lost in all the rules because it's very formal and moves into a fear-based kind of activity instead of that like loving, warm, caring thing that it could be or that it can be at its core. If you, I've gone to Catholic church masses since I've done this work, and I can pick out the good pieces, and it makes more sense to me. But as a child, especially if you, okay, here it is, if you had parents who went to Catholic schools when there were still nuns who like beat you if you didn't do things right or question anything, I think that's really where it comes from. Because I went to a Catholic school and it was kind of like that, but it was, we didn't have like the nuns in class and nobody was beating us anymore, thankfully. So I think it's a little bit easier for us than it was for our parents who were little kids trying to live their lives and be awesome. And they were just at a miserable time at school. It really wasn't cool that they did that. So don't do that, Catholic Church. So judgments are what our brain uses to get through situations quickly, to label things good and bad. Good and bad. Everything is either good or bad, good or bad. It relates to our belief systems that we talked about before and our book of law, our conditioned set of beliefs from church and school and our parents and everything. And also to the video I did about mirrors, we also judge others because they hold up mirrors for us about ourselves. Labeling something as good or bad is purely subjective, though. There's no such thing as good or bad. There just is. We assign these labels as a society and they change all the time. So, for example, when I was, young adult, teenager, skinny jeans were in, showing your whole midriff was in. So, unfortunately, side parts were a good thing. And then some in today's generation have decided that these things are bad. Another example is that centuries ago, being curvy and overweight was good. It was a sign that you were wealthy and you didn't have to work hard. Today, it's harder to be skinny, so we've decided that overweight is bad. Again, unfortunately for me, right? And so one person might think that like a quiet, smart person is good, but another person might prefer a loud and funny person to be around instead. So our brain uses these judgments as quick, efficient, even lazy ways of assessing a situation and the way that we fit into it. So our ego wants to protect us. So if it's immature, it will judge everyone else as bad to prop us up and prepare us to fight to defend ourselves if needed. So it does all these judgments about everybody else. Well, they're dumb, they're lazy, they're not educated, they're so poorly dressed, they're so overweight. They're so hillbilly, or they're so elitist. It does all these things to find all the bad stuff about other people, because that props up this immature ego, this immature idea of what our self is. Instead of knowing who you really are, and that who we really are is energy that all comes from the same source. So everybody around us is also this beautiful energy, and we can love everybody just the way they are. All these other things don't matter. Instead of doing that, this immature ego is like, girl, you are it. You are better than them. You're so good. You're awesome. Tries to make us feel good, but it does it in this very childlike way, based on attachments, ideas about what our identity is. For example, like thinking that we are our job, or we are our religion, or excuse me, or we are our political candidate. Those of you who have giant signs, I don't care what side they're for, of your candidate. Like I saw somebody last night who had painted Trump 2020 across their entire privacy fence. Honey, no, just no. That's not you. That's not even saying anything about who you are. Who you are has nothing to do with this person or this team or this brand or this job, this degree, nothing. We are all the same thing at our core. So it's so much easier if we look at each other as being another one of us and actually love them, rather than trying to do this fear-based inner child who's unhealed and needs to be reparented, immature ego thing where we are competitive and comparing and compete and degrade and judge everyone. So we can't stop judging others until we stop judging ourselves, because in the end, all judgments are a reflection of the way we feel about ourselves and our wounding or our values, depending on our own level of consciousness. So if you judge someone like me with the fence person, it means that there's something. I'm not really judging them, I'm making an observation here. There is a difference. If you judge them as being bad, it means that you need to examine that judgment, because there's some way that you feel the same way about yourself. If I judge somebody for being lazy, somehow inside I'm lazy. There's so many examples. Literally any judgment, you can look at it and understand how it's about you, or you can get some help with that from a coach like me or somebody who can help you explore these. But we want to try to start silencing that judgmental voice as much as you can through our own healing, and we want to view everything through a lens of understanding instead, making observations and seeking to identify what every judgment that still comes up for us is here to teach us about our own life. So you can use them to grow instead of using them to feel good about who you are. And you'll be much happier when you can get to that point. And also just a much friendlier person. So if you still feel like there's judgments coming up about you, keep working on those, because it's not enough to just try to look at everybody else with love. You have to look at yourself with love first and accept and integrate all the things that you really are or were or want to be, and become whole. All right. I'd love to talk to you. Please go to my website and send me an email if you have any questions about this. I hope you have an awesome day. Thanks for being here.